welcome everyone to Live Life to the Fullest.tv, our TGIF program. For today, we're going to focus on stories that is related to BounceSG. So what is BounceSG? Basically is we want to feature personality that actually have gone through life challenges, but they have overcome. And not only overcome, but in fact, they have actually used their experience and their expertise and to in fact influence and to benefit their community. And I think that this is such a wonderful thing that they have done, and BounceSG would like to feature them. And of course, we hope that with that, we can all together celebrate our National Day. But of course, today is really my privilege. I am Uncle Roland here, and it's really my privilege to have one personality, which later on I'm going to introduce her. And then from there, right, let's hear her story and see how our weekend can be inspired. So with that, do stay tuned because Uncle Roland and this personality will be back. So, see you. Okay, so with that, this is where I'm going to introduce this personality, and then from there, let's see what you can learn. And of course, important is for Uncle Roland because I'm also learning. And actually, I'm very, very excited to have her with us. So with that, let us all welcome Ong Lilian.
Hi.
So of course, you are actually the founder of a social organization. Now this one, I will leave it to you to share with us later on. And of course, I also know that you are also an author of a few books, and we want to take this opportunity to really introduce them. In fact, you can see right in front of you, right? We have a couple of books over here, a couple of books. So we hope that to find out more about what all these books are about, and well, let's see how this can be of some help to you. So whoever, where you are, we believe that this one can be of some help. Now, if you are a lady, then this one will be directly able to benefit you. Now, if you are a man, then this one most probably can be a good gift for whoever that you think that can benefit. So I tell you, whether you are a lady or you are a guy, do stay tuned because do not miss this. So with that, then we also want to take this opportunity to introduce Lilian as a trainer. So maybe Lilian, just share with us with an introduction of who you are, what you do. All right? Now we don't go into the organization yet because we want to keep it a suspense, all right, for our audience. But maybe more about you professionally. How about that?
All right.
Okay, so yes, over to you.
Yeah, I think first of all, thank you, Uncle Roland, for this invitation to be on the show. I think this is I'm very honored and privileged. My name is Lilian Ong. I am a breakthrough catalyst, and I help women to get unstuck from the self-sabotaging patterns of fear and limiting beliefs and self-doubt to move on to be living a life of courage, purpose, and freedom. Yeah, so I am also an author, a courage coach, as well as trainer and speaker with the Maxwell Leadership Certified Team. Yeah, and founder of Class Living, a social enterprise that focuses on empowering women, and founder of Women of Courage Asia, Her Courage Business Network, and Connecting Mother Support Group. Yeah.
That's right. So thank you, Lilian, for giving us a very good intro of herself. Then that's where we hope that that will give you some idea of who are we talking with. So again, like I mentioned, sounds like her focus is actually really about women.
Yes.
Right? But nevertheless, whether you are a guy or whether you are a lady watching our show, there's something for you to take back. So we hope that with that will also have your weekend inspired, because TGIF is all about your Friday, your Saturday, and your Sunday. So we hope that with what we are sharing with you, your weekend will be inspired, because either you're going to take away something, all right, from what Lilian is going to share with you, or you're going to take action. Because take action means what? You're going to do something about it, about your life.
Yes.
Or if like it has nothing to do with you, but if you think that whatever that you are receiving it today, you might want to share it with someone who actually were able to benefit from it. So how about that? Alright, so in other words, in that case, do stay tuned because Uncle Roland and Lilian will be back and then to share with you more about what Lilian is talking about. And I think we will take this opportunity to really have some kind of celebration. Now, what kind of celebration? Do stay tuned because we'll be back. Okay, so again, before we are back, just want to take this opportunity to actually share with all of you. TGIF, actually for us, we are running through our network called the livelifetofullest.tv. So in other words, do support us by simply scan this QR code and then come. And because why? Because through this, you're also able to watch the full interview that we have, in this case with Lilian. And not only that, you're also able to catch up with some of the other personalities that we also hope that their story can continue to inspire you all even more. So with that, do scan this QR code and then from there, stay tuned. Okay, so we are back. So Uncle Roland is here, and then with me I have Ong Lilian. So like she has already mentioned about what she is specializing, what she do professionally, and of course her passion. So if with that case, then that's where Uncle Roland, I'm going to take this opportunity to bombard her with some question, because it's interesting what she's doing here. But I think what's more interesting, the more interesting will be, what is really the motivation behind this? All right. So maybe share with us, Lilian, like what is that that motivates you to really do this? And share with us your life experiences. And if, let's say, you have been through any kind of challenges or struggle, even as a woman, all right, and of course being a wife to your husband and being a mother to your children, then what are the challenges you face, and then exactly what happened, and then in the end, hey, you actually able to pay it forward by even benefiting the other women.
Oh, well, that's quite a mouthful of a question over there. Yeah, let's break it down.
Very good.
Actually, basically, I didn't think of so much about this. I didn't expect the community to be birthed for, and it all started with just one simple question that I asked myself. Because I was going through postnatal depression. I was a first-time mom with a first child in my first HDB flat, in a new environment. So everything was my first, and I was going through that depression period and was very suicidal actually. Yeah, but after I managed to walk out of that, I asked myself one question: how do I teach my children courage? Yeah, because it's no point just telling them what to do, but rather showing them what courage looks like. So with that question that I asked myself, I started to take action to live life, exercising and practicing being courageous, because my children are watching me. Every day they are watching my behaviors, they're watching how I handle situation, how I handle crisis, how I handle problems. So it all started with just that question: how do I teach my children courage? Yeah.
Share with us, when you mention about all those struggles and the challenges that you were going through, how you actually gather that kind of courage, or how you actually get yourself out of this situation, or this emotional, or the stress, or whatever that you are going through.
Right.
Because when you say courage, how you actually able to bring yourself out of that?
Yeah. Do you mind I bring you on a time travel?
Yeah, sure. That's what it's all about, right? Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. I mentioned I was going through postnatal depression. And I was actually very, very tired. I remember that day I was standing at the balcony looking out of the balcony, and I was very, very tired, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And at that moment, I was actually thinking, how can I end my life again? So I decided to walk into the master bedroom where my children were sleeping. And you know, when children, they sleep, they breathe very heavily. Yeah, so the tummy was going up and down, up and down. And I was just watching that for a while, and it was so therapeutic that I forgot about my plan to end my life. But still, I was feeling very tired, so I dragged myself to the playroom next door, and I just slumped down on the floor with all the mat, you know, those ABC cushion mat. And I just slumped down and I just started to, initially I was just weeping. And the weeping became crying. And the crying moved on to wailing. I was at that moment wailing, and because of a tsunami, I can sense a tsunami of emotion was just like, I was just overwhelmed by that tsunami of emotions. I couldn't pinpoint what emotions that was, because it's like a whole spectrum of emotion that I have been suppressing for the longest time, trying to look strong on the outside, but and everything seems to be okay, but everything is not okay. I was just pretending. So I was very, very tired and exhausted. But if I were to identify one emotion, I would say is anger. Not angry with other people, but I was very angry with myself. So it was like a moment of time flash, you know, like, you know, I was angry for all the decisions that I made, you know, silly decision, foolish decisions that put myself suffering from the consequences as a teenager, you know, as a young adult, and the decisions that I make that sabotage my relationships, you know, with people I love. So all that just came crashing down that moment. So I was there on the floor, wailing, and I think, yeah, it was probably half an hour, until I was like totally exhausted. I would consider that as an emotional meltdown. But I remember saying this, you know, I said, God, I surrender. I seriously do not know how to help myself anymore. And I'm so tired. So tired of pretending, so tired of holding up and making sure everything looks together, looks good. Yeah. So at that moment, I surrendered my life, you know, and I told God, you just do what you need to do, you know. And then the next day, support came. Yeah, support came as a sister, a neighbor, who approached me and invited me to her home, you know, to bring my kids along. She's a preschool teacher. Yeah, a young adult, early childhood educator. Yeah, so it was very uncomfortable for me because, you know, I was still, although that decision was made, but I was still in that depressive mode, you see, and I don't want to interact with anyone. But I said my prayer, and this looked like a solution, a support that, you know, heaven sent, right? So I struggled to step out of my comfort zone and bring my kids to her home, you know, and try to interact with people. So that was the beginning of the experience of stepping out, taking the courage to step out and work on myself, because I want things to change, right? I want things to change, but I need to make a decision and I need to take action. So that was the beginning of a taste of taking courage to step out for myself, at least. Yeah.
I hear you saying that. Really, I think it's really to acknowledge the situation that you are in, and then also to able to acknowledge even your own feelings, and even to accept your weaknesses, that what you are going through. And then from there, of course, then when you need to, then it's really to, like we say, step up. And the way you step up is really to call for help. You know, rather than you keep everything by yourself, but now you actually review, expose. But then from there, you are actually seeking help. And I think that is, from what I understand, that can be part of the courage to do it. And I believe there are more. All right. Of course, then with that, we'll sort of leave it to Lilian, because then I think that's where she can take this opportunity to share with you a lot more about what she's going through. Right? But nevertheless, really, thank you so much for sharing this bit, because then I thought that this really gave our audience a good idea. And we're just wondering that, are you also going through this? Or do you know someone that is going through this? So it could be you yourself as a mother, as a wife, or whether your wife is going through this. So if that sounds very familiar, then maybe there's something that for you. And we hope that with Lilian continue to share with you, that's something that, well, we hope that can resonate with you. And maybe it's time for you to do something about it. So with that, do stay tuned, because we will have more for you. And I want to make sure that Lilian over here will continue to share more with all of you. All right, so with that, stay tuned, because we'll be back. Okay, so I think this is where we can have a good opportunity, all right, to actually find out from Lilian that, with what she has gone through, and then able to overcome, finding her own courage, and then with that, wow, what's next? And that's where, for me, I'm so inspired by her, where she actually used it from there to also benefit more women. All right. So with that, let us take this opportunity for Lilian to share with us what have you done again, after able to step out, find your courage to overcome your challenges. May share with us some of the organization that actually you have started. Okay.
Right. Of course, it's a long journey. It didn't happen overnight. From that moment that I made that decision and taking the courage to step out and receive support. Now, I cry out to support, and then I receive the support. One of the limiting beliefs that I had to address was receiving support is weakness. It sounds very weak to me. So that's why I have been putting on a strong front, right, until I was exhausted. But I learned in that process that reaching out for support is not weakness. It actually requires courage to seek for support. So that is like a mindset shift for me in the first place. Yeah. So of course, continuing to step out and be uncomfortable and be comfortable with being uncomfortable in everything that I'm doing. Yeah, because the whole direction is to build myself up again. So I remember I went back to writing, because my mindset, I realized it was very negative. I was trapped in this stronghold of negative beliefs, and so I had to address them one at a time. And at that time, help came not just from the neighbor, but friends from the church, also, started calling me and checking in with me, because I have not been, I've been escaping, I've been hiding, so I have not been attending church. So, but friends, they just call and check in with me, and they begin to share with me what the pastor is sharing, in church, and the topics was so timely, because at that time I was also having a marriage crisis, because my husband and I, when we communicate, we can't move past 3 sentences. I know, and the whole war zone, we'll enter into a war, or even, I'll play the silent game, the Cold War thing. So it wasn't helpful in our marriage as well. But having realized that, gaining the awareness of what's happening. Again, awareness empower you with a choice, right? So I have to make a decision of what am I going to do with this information. Knowledge is just information. If we don't do anything about it, it's not going to create any change. So I started writing positive quotes or scriptures from the Bible, and I'll start posting it and putting it all over places where I will see first thing in the morning, in the bathroom, on the mirror, on the fridge, everywhere. So that little action over there helps me to be reminded about my mindset, and therefore affected my behaviors. So things started to improve. I began to start reading the Bible again. I started to pray again, and I started dragging my 2 kids to church, but I would like stealth in and stealth out because I still not comfortable interacting with anyone. Yeah, I just know that, okay, God just help me, you know. And for a while, for a period, you know, I was doing that every weekend, you know. And then the kids will be screaming in the car, and you know, I will be like screaming back, you know, like a crazy woman. But I just hold on to that and just persist, yeah. And I'll bring them to the bookstore, and then I'll start asking, you know, what book should I be reading? Because I don't know where to start. I don't know how to start. I don't know where to start. So I find that it's very divine that I'm always directed to certain books. So I started reading. And the magical part about this is that the books answer the questions in my heart that I didn't even articulate out. But they were questions in my heart, and I just ignore it. But when I started reading those books, the answers were all there. They were like answering my internal questions. So I began to realize that this is divine help, and I started to have positive ideas. Like, you know, because I'm experiencing the change. My relationship and my communication with my husband is improving. You know, I am able to smile more and interact more with people. So it's a very progressive change. And then this idea dropped in my heart, you know, to write a book. And that's another mindset challenge, because the moment the idea came in, the negative thoughts and voices was very loud. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you can write a book? Your English is not even good, you know, and who will want to buy your book? Who will want to read your book? All the negative voices start coming in as well. So I actually shelved the idea for a while because I need to address these beliefs system. Yeah. But I continue to read self-help books, you know, spiritual books, self-help books, and open up myself to people that I can trust, to release my emotions, yeah, and you know, address my thoughts, because I don't know what I don't know. I don't know whether whatever I'm expressing, are they sabotaging myself or supporting myself. I needed a mentor, you know, to guide me, yeah. So one thing leads to another, and then the question of, you know, how can I teach my children courage? So I started to make that decision. Again, it's a choice, it's a decision that has to be made, and I started to work on the book. But before the book, right, actually I started a furnishing business. You know, so after recovering from, you know, walking out of the depression without any taking any psychotropics, yeah, but I was, you know, I was nourishing myself at my mindset level, yeah. So I was actually offered an opportunity to start a furnishing business. Now you got to understand, I'm not officially trained as an interior designer. My background is in real estate management. I study real estate management. I love show house, show flats, but going to the back end of it and customizing all the furnishing, that's another story. So I struggled with that, and again, it's about self-confidence. You know, the issue about self-confidence. Can I do this? You know. But again, a decision has to be made. Once I make the decision, I take action. I go and research everything about custom furnishing, how the sofa making, curtain dressing, you know, colors and everything. It's like a very steep learning curve of own self-taught interior design process, education. Yeah, and one thing very amazing that I learned in that whole experience is that when I take the courage to do that, I discover my strength. Yeah, I didn't know that I have a flair in interior decoration. Yeah, and within the first year, I broke even. I got no contact, by the way, you know, 7 years stay at home, full-time mom, have no working, out of the working world for 7 years, no contacts. But within the first year, I broke even. And subsequently, by the 4th year, I was receiving awards, and then after that, I crossed $500,000, and then after that, consistently about close to $1 million in the revenue. That itself was mind-blowing for me because I never imagined that I can do that. That I can bid projects like St. Reggie's, hospitality, Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, not just Singapore, Sri Lanka, but KL. So the clients that I was receiving and the encouragement from them teach me something. It teach me that if I really take the courage to educate myself, to put my heart and passion and soul into doing something, I can discover the potential that's in me. Likewise, each and every one of us got so much potential in us that's waiting to be discovered. Yeah. So one thing leads to another. I sold the business after 9 years to an interior designer. And then I moved on to work on the book. Yeah, so that's when I move on to work on the book. And again, do we have time for this?
So I sort of guess that because of this journey, it gives you now another form of courage to write a book. Because without this journey, you most probably will be procrastinating, or you just wonder how you're going to write this book, right? Because then coming out with that courage is one thing, but able to say that, yes, because due to this process or due to this stepping out, finally there is a positive outcome. And I think that's where you brought yourself through. And I think that sort of double confirmed that, hey, it's time for you to write a book.
Yeah, but I was afraid. I was doing everything afraid. So that's why I always like to tell my community or the ladies that I interact with, courage is a choice to take action in the face of fear. In spite of fear, I was doing afraid all this time, but I made committed, intentional and committed action in the face of fear. So fear is just an emotion that alert us with something that we are uncertain about. But yeah, I just want to highlight this point because it is doing it afraid. Yeah.
In fact, you all can see right in front of us. There's a couple of books, which later on we're going to talk more about it. But before even we go to the book, we also want to talk about the kind of organization that she actually set up so that she can actually reach out to women who are actually going through some kind of emotional challenges, right?
Yeah.
So this is where we're going to talk more about it. So with that, do stay tuned because Uncle Roland and Lilian will be back. Okay, so good that we are back here. If you have not been watching our videos, and with, of course, this personality that's with us, Ong Lilian, which is the founder of this organization called the Women of Courage, which we're going to catch up with her regards to this. But if you have really missed what we have been talking about, do actually go back and then watch our previous videos, and so that you know that what is coming for you right here. So of course with us right now we have Ong Lilian, and she has been sharing her amazing life in the sense that what she has gone through, struggling as a mother and as a wife and a child. She managed to step out with the courage, and then from there of course she went through and put herself through in this entrepreneurship journey, and of course she was being successful, and then of course with that she is actually inspired to write the book. In fact, the book that we're talking about is right in front of you, which we're going to talk more. But with that, let's give Lilian this opportunity to share with us what sort of inspired you to really set up some of this organization. Share with us more about it and what it's supposed to do.
It's actually a natural progression, as you can hear from the previous sharing. One thing leads to another, so it's like a progressive growth and natural progression. So after receiving the breakthrough myself, and the transformation of my life personally, I began to think beyond myself. Right? Because initially it's just about me. I want to break out of this being stuck in this pattern and depression and suicidal thoughts. Then after that, it was about my children. How can I be a good role model for my children? So and then it grows into how can I support other mothers that probably will be going through similar situation that I did. So I had the opportunity to just start sharing my story. And while working on the book, because this book is a compilation of 23 stories from women from all different walks of life, facing different challenges, different adversity and crises, and how they overcome it. So they actually very generously provide the applications, tips and applications that you can actually apply in your life and experience those breakthrough yourself. So when working on the book, it inspired me as well as that more women should read about this, and more women should also realize that their stories can impact other people, because it just started with one person, but then now there's 23 stories. But then I was thinking, how can more women be impacted? And then there's this quote by Matthew Arnold. It's an 18th century poet. He said this. He said that if there ever comes a time where the women of the world comes together simply and purely for the good of mankind, it will be a force such as the world has never seen. Wow, when I read that quote, I had goosebumps, and I was like, I want to be part of that force, to just rally the women together and to help them to speak up with courage, to discover that message of their life, because everything we experience in life is not wasted. The good, the bad, the ugly, they all can become a powerful tool to empower another person. So with that thought, in my mind, I just do slowly one-to-one, keep talking to people, when they need support and they need to speak to someone, I'll be there to have a conversation with them. So I didn't know that I was actually slowly being shifted into the world of coaching. Yeah, so I was doing it unconsciously, supporting one at a time. And then I asked a few of the ladies that I'm closer with that should we just have just start something like a meeting, a regular meeting. And it was also an idea that was given to me by another mentor. He was seeing what I've been doing. I was going around volunteering with different communities as well. So he suggested that have you thought about setting up a community, a structured one, maybe every month you meet up. So I was like challenged. Yeah, and so, but again, I make a decision, right? Let's do it, but I don't want to do it alone. So I rally a few ladies that are mothers, that have also experienced their breakthrough. And the Connecting Mothers Support Group, because one thing that I forgot to mention was in that process of walking out of the depression in the new neighborhood, right? Organically, the Connecting Mothers Support Group was formed because I just rally the mothers together, and to run to do garage sales, because our kids are growing, so we change. We just get rid of our the toys or the clothing. So Connecting Mothers Support Group was actually started organically first. So then fast forward to where the structured meeting. So I rally a few and then we just do it. The first meeting, we were very privileged and thankful to have another social enterprise because they were at Scape. So they offered the venue. And at the first meeting, we were like, don't know whether anyone will turn up. But we just do it, just do it afraid. And about 30 over women show up. And I asked them why did they show up? And they were attracted to the word courage. They wanted a dose of courage. They was very stuck, and they realized that they are very stuck in a certain pattern, that they are very unsatisfied and not happy with where they are. They want to break through, yeah. So they were attracted to the word courage, and they came. And from there, the rest was history. We have been having monthly empowerment meeting since 2019. Yeah, we just celebrated our 3rd anniversary in March. Yeah, so that was how Women of Courage Asia got started. Yeah.
So there you go. So after hearing her story, you can see that this is not just an overnight decision, but I think this is really a long journey,
yes.
Which of course it started with a very genuine kind of motivation to really to going out there to help. And really, so very thankful that actually you have brought your work to this extent where now it has become an organization, and then from there to able to reach out to more women. In fact, not only in Singapore, because I love it when you say, hey, Asia.
Yes.
So I think that's where the WOCA comes about, because the A actually means that it's Asia.
Yes.
So, well, then with that the case, then hope that with your passion and with your work, you were able to go all out, right, to many places. But of course, then that is where we're going to talk a little bit more about the book already. Right, because then what is the book is all about, and I think more important is that how can you benefit from it. So with that, Uncle Roland and Lilian will be staying tuned with you, so don't go away because we'll be back. Okay, so now that's where we are back. I'm Uncle Roland, and with me I have Ong Lilian. So if you have been following up with our videos, then you know that actually Lilian has shared with us many of her stories. And I think story really about courage. And we know that she's reaching out to women. And we also hope that, you know, whether you are watching our show as mothers, or as wives, or even if you happen to watch this as husband, then that's where we hope that right now Lilian sharing with you is something that you can think about of what you can do over the weekend. So with that, I think we're going to start with these two books that let's hear from Lilian what is all these two books are about. All right.
Yeah, I mentioned that the book Women of Courage is a compilation. It's a compilation of 23 women from different backgrounds sharing their challenges, adversity, and crisis, and how they took action, you know, and overcome them, and providing applicable, very practical tips, you know, and tools to help anyone. It's not just limited to women, I realize, because I have men who bought the books and they feedback to me that the practical tips and tools they are universal. You know, you apply it. It's just that my heart goes out to women. That's why I'm focusing on women. But whatever is shared in this book, the tools can be applied across both gender. Yeah. So you can actually get this book.
And then, okay, so that's the Woman of Courage, right?
Yes. Breaking the fear barrier.
The fear barrier. Okay, yes. So let me like sort of take a look. So actually, you can see from here, Women of Courage, breaking the fear of barrier. So of course, with that, let's see. She was mentioning that there are actually 23 stories.
Yes.
Okay. So right. So okay, there you go. Right. So if you can show that's it. Correct. So 1, 2, and then from there.
Yeah.
So
from motherhood, you know, to sicknesses, to different conditions in their life, yeah, or being in an abusive relationship, yeah, different areas.
Okay, very good. So of course later we're going to check with Lilian that how y'all can get a copy or even how to get it free. Okay, all right. So anyway, how about the second book then? Here we go.
Yeah, again, everything, like I say, is a natural progression. It started with, you know, myself, right? Then after that, I wanted the women in the community to also, you know, take up challenges. You know, we want to challenge each other to do something that is beyond our imagination. And many of them wanted to write a book, but they, again, procrastinate and shelve that idea or don't have that courage to do it. So we started this community project and say, why not we just do it together? Right? You don't have to write an entire story if you're not ready. But how about nuggets of your learning? What is that quote that has helped you, you know, throughout your journey? And why not we pen that down and then just a little bit of background about you. And there we go. We have a community project, and the women all came forward, and we have 20 over women also contributing their nuggets of wisdom and the quotes that their favorite quotes. Yeah, and we even have one very young a teenager yeah, that contributed to that project as well. And we did that within a very short time. So once we take action and there's power in unity and a teamwork. So we launched the Voices of Courage, the book in 2020. 2020 or 2019.
So in other
2020.
words,
Yeah.
wow, that we can see that now over here we have these two books. One is really about their story, and then with that can inspire you, because then, well, we hope that at least there's one of the story that can resonate with you. And whereas over here, Voices of Courage, I think that is where you can actually discover, wow, how they actually able to find that courage. Just like what Lilian has shared with her story, I believe that over here, then that's where you can have a lot of ideas.
Yeah,
or
a lot of quotes.
Yeah, so all these quotes.
Plenty quotes, yes.
And I believe that sometimes some of these words that if you really keep it in your heart, and that may be of some help, and sometimes it can be a breakthrough. It's just a matter of just, well, changing the mindset, or really some form of inspiration or awakening. So I think that is fantastic. Right? So the next thing that Uncle Roland will ask, okay, so in other words, right, like, do they need to buy? Because then I think either the audience here will be interested to buy a copy for themselves, or it can be a gift. Okay, or maybe if you want to know how much it costs, just go to our website.
Yeah, just go to the website.
All right. And if you would like the copy, hey, just order from us. Then I believe that Lilian will be so happy, all right, to let you have a copy. But right now, Uncle Roland is going to ask a very, very important question. Because then, how, if there's really someone really, really need it, how can he get it for free?
Oh, good question. I'm glad you asked. Yeah, we are a very giving community. So, I mean, our goal is to put these books into into the hands of as many women as possible. So, remember I mentioned about the monthly empowerment meeting that happens every last Tuesday of the month. Yeah, every last Tuesday of the month. Join us, because that's a very safe environment where you get to practice being courageous. So for the Voices of Courage book that comes with a compilation of all the quotes, right? If you just take the courage to share your reflection and takeaway after the meeting, there you have it. We'll give you a copy of the book for taking the courage to step out of your comfort zone. Yeah, and if you want to take a step further to share your story, just a snippet of your story, you get this book. You get my copy of the Women of Courage, Breaking the Fear Barrier. Yes.
For free, right?
For free.
That's right.
Yes, complimentary.
But of course, this one must state some T&C, terms and conditions. You need to be a woman.
Yes. The monthly empowerment meeting.
Right, so this is really specially for women. Of course, for guys, if you're buying this gift, then you can show your appreciation by really supporting Lilian and her organization by getting a copy.
Yes,
right?
All the proceeds that are bought from this for the books, and actually we have not talked about the scarf, it goes to support the operation of the community, because we are a self-funded non-profit community. Yes.
Since you talk about the scarf, so this is something that we also want to dig a little bit more, because usually we have just a black tablecloth, right? Today is very special, because today then it comes with this scarf that makes the table look so nice. But share with us a bit, what is this scarf is all about?
So again, we wanted to have something that women can identify themselves and identify themselves with, and also to be reminded, right, to practice being courageous. So usually, people will like design a T-shirt and or a cap. Yeah, we thought let's do something different. Yeah, and one of our volunteers, she is an image consultant, so she said, why don't we do a scarf? Right, we design a scarf. And then we have another volunteer who is a graphic designer. So she volunteered to get the design out. And if you can see, the motif is actually the same motif as my book. Yeah, but the difference is this gold, this gold thing around it. So the story, the background of this is that, if you heard of the Japanese art kintsugi, yeah, they actually put back all the broken pieces, the pottery pieces, and then they put them back with the gold. Yeah, so that story is like, we liken it to our life. You know, our life may be broken. You may feel that your hearts are broken, your life is broken, but if we are taking the courage to put them back together and then, you know, seal it up with these golden nuggets of wisdom and strength and whatever that you go back in your life, your broken pieces in your life, and you discover all your strength and you gel it out all together, it becomes a beautiful master art piece. Your mess becomes a message. Yeah.
I really liked it when you say you glue them together with gold. You don't glue them together with glue. But you glue them together with gold.
Yes.
So that
golden nuggets of wisdom and strength.
So which is great, you know. So I thought that that's a very, very good analogy and a representation of the kind of element to put things back, to put your life back, to piece everything together, so that they are actually part of the bigger puzzle.
Yes.
That in the end turns out to be of a greater use. Yeah. Right? Okay, so really interesting. Then again, how about this scarf? How to get it or what?
Yes, just visit the website.
Okay, good. So now we can see how much Lilian is giving to all of you. So do really take this opportunity and then come onto our website and find out more. And then of course, if you have not been catching up with our videos, do really watch them fully and then be inspired. And of course, we hope that we can hear you out. Now, this is not over yet, because we're also taking this opportunity, really looking forward to really have a story and to celebrate like Mother's Day and even a National Day. So then let's hear from her later on. All right, a little bit more about her story being a mother. So do stay tuned because Uncle Roland and Lilian will be back. Okay, so we are really looking forward. The reason also because we know that there are upcoming events, especially like Mother's Day and then the school holidays and the National Day. And we thought that really the role of a mother in a family is so important. And of course for us, we are very interested like, you know, how the Women of Courage Asia is actually supporting this or celebrating.
Yes, every year, you know, we plan the year with the different themes and different events that's happening, right? So Mother's Day, of course, is something that we're very close to our heart, and therefore we have actually two events, two campaigns, you know, and the campaigns are all championed and led by the volunteers, and most of them, of course, the Mother's Day one, you know, most of them are mothers themselves. So one of it is they are going to do a recording and interviewing different pairs of mothers and daughters, yeah, so that, you know, to build that connection and to let both mom and daughter have the opportunity to really express themselves, because we live in a very fast-paced world, right? And then everything's happening so fast, and then sometimes we don't pause, we don't slow down and really like communicate and connect with each other. So I think that production would be a great opportunity for mother and daughter to really connect at a heart-to-heart level. And then the other one would be parenting styles. Yeah, because we all come from different personality background and different personality, different backgrounds. We grow up with different parenting styles, right? So we're going to have a discussion, like a fireside chat discussion of the different parenting styles, and you get to find out, you know, which parenting style are you actually adopting, and whether they are supporting or sabotaging the growth of your children. Yeah, and one more. Actually, there's three.
Good.
One more is we want to advocate a healthy lifestyle. So we're going to have a walk with us. We had this previously last year as well. We did a morning forest walk and a city night walk. So this time around, we're going to have another walk. It's happening on the 12th of May. And yeah, bring mother and children bonding time. You know, it can extend to the whole family, not just mother and children. You know, bring your husband, yeah, and have that walk. It's going to be about 4 hours walk, yeah. But it will be a great time to enjoy the nature together as a family, yeah. and not just being caught up in computer games and work. Yeah, just soak yourself in nature. Yeah, and Singapore is such a beautiful garden, right? We have so much, all this natural flora and fauna for us to appreciate. So yeah, join us.
Okay, so now you can see that for Women of Courage Asia, actually they do have activities that's so, I would say, that's so meaningful for family to actually participate. So do take note, because then we'll give you more info through our website and then catch up with all of us. And of course, take this opportunity and to catch up with Lilian. So we hope that with that, your event and activities will be successful.
Thank you.
But of course, before we let you off, not so easy.
Not so easy.
Like you may be thinking like, oh, it's all about women, but I'm going to have one last question that's meant for Lilian, and this is especially important for husband, including myself, right? Because I also have children. So do stay tuned, because we will be back, and then this is something that has to be beneficial for you as husband. All right, so we'll be back. Okay, so welcome back, because Uncle Roland right here, very anxious to ask Lilian. All right, one question, right? And of course, this one will be the last question for what we have, because time is precious. So I think this is something that guys, you all will be thinking, right? Because, okay, so, Women of Courage is just meant for women. Okay, maybe I can support her by getting a book for my wife. Hey, no, it's more than that. Because I think, from my point of view, even as a husband, actually, in order to help my wife to really play a better role as a mother, what can I do as a husband? Okay, so let's say I'm saying out of me and allow me to represent you, okay? Represent you. So share with us, especially now, like you have gone through this, you have found your own courage, but then I'm also interested to find out, like, then how better as a husband we able to support our wife, or in this case my wife, so that it can even give her extra courage. Okay, yes.
Yes, thanks for that question, because I just want to take this opportunity to also thank all the brothers, all the males, all the males in our community that's behind the scene, that are supporting our works, because a lot of our volunteers, they are mothers as well, and they have their husbands behind the scenes supporting them to be volunteering and building this community and giving them the time and space to be able to do this work, for us to come together and do this work together. So thank you, husbands, of all the volunteers, and there are many other supporting partners, organization partners, and Uncle Roland is one of the males that are supporting our work behind the scene. So it is not just a women's thing, it's not a feminist thing. We advocate building up the women, because we believe that when the woman, especially the mother in the household, is healthy, she has the power of influence to influence everyone in her circle, in her sphere of influence, from her children to the husband to the brothers to the partners working in the working world. Yeah, so that's why, because our experience is in the area of womanhood and motherhood, that's why the focus is on women. But don't forget, there are a lot of males behind the scene, and we want to thank you. I want to take this opportunity to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you for giving us that time and space to do this. Yeah. So the question, back to your question.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah. What can a husband do to help his wife, right, to play a better role as a mother? I'm very grateful to my husband, who I mentioned, before that, initially when I'm very unhealthy, our conversation couldn't proceed more than 3 sentences, right? But that has improved tremendously, also because of him taking the courage to actually work with me, work with the issue and not be fighting against each other, but becoming a team and address the problem. Yeah. So I also want to encourage the husbands, all the husbands out there, to take the courage, to support and partner up with your wife as a team. You're a great team together to address whatever issues, whatever conflicts, whatever there is crisis that you may face together. So giving time and space to have conversations. Now, I'm not just talking about how's your day, what's the kid doing, got homework or not, not that kind of conversation, but heart-to-heart conversation. Now, husbands, please, I know y'all are great problem solvers, y'all will jump in and, with great solutions. We love you, we love your solutions, but sometimes we just need a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, or just a hug, a cuddle, and just listen and agree with us, acknowledge how we feel, the challenges that we're going through. You don't have to give us, it's not all the time that you have to, solve the problem for us. We just need to let it out. Sometimes women, we just need to release those emotions, yeah. And just sometimes we think out loud, right? So if you don't agree with us, agree to disagree. Yeah.
Okay.
And one more thing. I remember having dates with my husband and leaving the children behind. Get some your family support to take care of the kids, and you go on dates. Pat again. Don't forget about the intimacy and the connection that you all have before the kids come along. So that is very important. Text each other, with loving texts, words of affirmation, or witty, funny, cheeky texts, yeah, to improve that intimacy within the both parties, yeah. So I think it's a lot of. A marriage it requires a commitment. It's a covenant, It's not a contract. It's a covenant. It takes commitment and effort to keep that passion going, yeah. So if your wife is happy, you will be happy. There's a saying that, I can't remember what's that, but yeah, being understanding each other's needs, understand each other's struggle. So if you know your wife's love language, it's important to know her love language, because I take my husband for example. He wants to express his love, but he keep buying me things. But that doesn't mean that I feel love, because my love language is not gift, it's quality time. Yeah, so something like that. Yeah, of course there's a lot more tips I can share, but time is running out. So
that's
yes.
Right. Hey, but don't you think that she's given you so much already, right? Firstly, of course, it's really all these handful tips that really can get you going. But, all right, don't forget, you're not doing it alone. Because what you can do is that you can get 23 women over here to be on your side. Okay? So all you need to do is get a copy for her, and then from there, give her some time and read. And of course, like what Lilian was talking about, just give a listening ear, and then of course slowly to support her. So I think that with all this, wow, we have armed you with so many tools, So we hope that with that, we really got your weekend inspired. Alright, and of course, more importantly, is for you to take action. So with that, if you really like what we are doing here, do support us. Scan the QR code and then go to our website and then see in what way you can support our social mission, and with especially what Lilian has been doing and what she's going to do. So with that, we look forward to your participation. Do not just watch, but really to take action. So again, whether you are husband or you are wife, there's something for you to do over the weekend or many weekends to come. So with that, really want to thank you, all right, Lilian, for really sharing all your hearts out, all right, to all of us. And then it's so inspiring. And we hope that you continue to do more of this work and then to have a greater influence. And we hope that this one will really go all out to Asia.
Right. Is it okay I throw in one more gift?
It's still not the end yet. It's still not the end yet. Here we go.
Yeah, I think you check with Uncle Roland, scan the QR code and find out how you can have a complimentary discovery session with me. Yeah, so if you want to create the change, you want to take courage to do whatever you want, you must first know where you are, and yeah, so.
Very good. You see, you have no more excuses. No more excuses. So in other words, right, do come on our website, really, and then communicate with us, all right, and then from there we'll link you up with Lilian, because right now what she's offering is really a kind of free consultation, all right?
Not just consultation, I'll just give you take one action step. Yeah, we want to see results.
There you go, there you go. So it's not just about listening and then to give you ideas, but really to help you to take action.
Yes.
So we hope that with what Lilian is offering to you, the husband and wife, then don't forget that do something over your weekend. All right, so with that, Uncle Roland and Ong Lilian signing out.
Okay.
But don't forget, we have more story to come. So do stay tuned again. And then live life to fullest.tv will catch up with you. Bye-bye.